Atheism undermines the three necessary Judeo-Christian presuppositions that lay at the founding of modern science. Stephen Meyer, who has a PhD in the philosophy of science from the University of Cambridge, which is Sir Isaac Newton's alma mater, in the 2023 article, New Book for this Scientist, Science Did Not Point to Atheism, lists the three presuppositions as such. 1. Intelligibility of nature. 2. Contingency of nature. 3. The fallibility of human reasoning. Atheism and/or methodological naturalism denies the first two presuppositions, and in regard to the third not only holds human reasoning to be fallible, but via the denial of free will, denies the capacity of humans to reason altogether. Does atheism undermine the intelligibility of nature? Let's dive deeper into this thought. To grapple with this, we first turn to Einstein. Einstein once expressed awe at the comprehensibility of the world, considering it a miracle or an eternal mystery. But why did he find it so astonishing? Well, let's think about it. If there's no guiding force or intelligence behind the universe, one might expect it to be chaotic, random, and ultimately beyond our understanding. This is a core belief in atheism, that the universe and everything within it, including the human mind, is the product of chaos or unguided randomness. But here's where it gets tricky. The very definition of chaos is a state of total confusion with no order. If the universe sprang from chaos, how could it be intelligible? How could we, products of this same chaos, hope to comprehend it? We find ourselves in a paradox. The universe is both intelligible. We've been able to uncover and understand many of its secrets. And yet, according to atheism, it's born from chaos. Moreover, our ability to understand the universe implies a certain orderliness. Laws of physics, mathematics, chemistry, these are not products of a chaotic system, but of an ordered one. So if the universe is indeed the product of unguided randomness, how do we reconcile this with the order and intelligibility we observe? This presents a significant challenge to the atheistic worldview. If the universe is the result of unguided randomness, we're left with the question of how such a chaotic beginning could lead to an ordered, comprehensible universe. As Einstein stated, there lies the weakness of positivists and professional atheists who are elated because they feel that they have not only successfully rid the world of gods, but bared the miracles. So we see how atheism conflicts with our understanding of the universe's intelligibility. But this is just one facet of a much larger conversation. In our next section, we'll explore another presupposition crucial to modern science, the contingency of nature. Next, we explore how atheism might challenge the contingency of nature. This presupposition, rooted deeply in Judeo-Christian thought, posits that the universe does not exist necessarily, but rather contingently. Its existence is seen as dependent on a cause beyond the constraints of space and time. Let's delve into two scientific theories that support this presupposition: the Big Bang theory and quantum non-locality. The Big Bang theory, as many of us know, suggests that the universe originated approximately 14 billion years ago. The Big Bang implies a clear beginning, a creation event for the entire universe, which strongly supports the fact that the universe is not necessary in its existence, as atheism had presupposed, but is contingent in its existence. Quantum non-locality, on the other hand, indicates that entangled particles are dependent on a non-local cause that transcends the limits of space and time. However, atheism has often grappled with these theories, which propose a universe that springs from and is governed by forces beyond our physical realm. For instance, notable atheist and astronomer Fred Hoyle originally coined the term Big Bang, using it mockingly to scorn the concept of a creation event. Similarly, Arthur Eddington stated, philosophically, the notion of a beginning of the present order of nature is repugnant. I should like to find a genuine loophole. Even the eminent physicist Albert Einstein was led astray when he introduced a cosmological constant into his equations of general relativity. This artificial adjustment was designed to maintain a static, eternal universe, contradicting the notion of a contingent universe with a definitive beginning. His adjustment was a deviation from the natural outworking of general relativity that Alexander Friedmann and Georges Lemaitre had worked out that indicated a beginning for the universe. Einstein later acknowledged his artificial adjustment to his equation was his biggest blunder in science. Likewise, Einstein's proposal of hidden variables in quantum theory to try to explain away what he termed to be the spooky action at a distance of quantum entanglement are now widely regarded as being falsified. As Nicholas Gizin, professor at the University of Geneva, Switzerland, stated in his falsification of Einstein's hidden variables, our result gives weight to the idea that quantum correlations somehow arise from outside space-time, in the sense that no story in space and time can describe them. Such examples illustrate the historical resistance of atheism toward the idea of a contingent universe. This resistance has historically been, and still is, a roadblock that hinders scientific progress and that undermines the second necessary Judeo-Christian presupposition that underpinned the founding of modern science. Finally, let's examine how atheism might affect our understanding of the fallibility of human reasoning. One of the hallmarks of atheistic thought is the denial of free will. Sam Harris, a prominent atheist, encapsulated this viewpoint when he said, "Tonight, I hope to convince you that free will is an illusion." But let's pause for a moment and think about that statement. In trying to convince us, isn't Harris implying that we have the freedom to either accept or reject his argument? Isn't he suggesting that our minds can be swayed by reason and evidence? And if that's the case, doesn't that inherently imply the existence of free will? It's a fascinating paradox, isn't it? On one hand, Harris argues against the existence of free will. On the other hand, the very act of arguing assumes the presence of free will. It assumes that we have the capacity to change our minds, to evaluate evidence, and to make decisions based on our reasoning. Ironically, this paradox highlights the fallibility of human reasoning. As Harris himself gives evidence of, we are not infallible beings with perfect understanding. We can be swayed by arguments, we can misunderstand concepts, and we can even hold contradictory beliefs. But the denial of free will in atheistic thought undermines our ability to correct human fallibility. If free will is an illusion, if our beliefs and responses are predetermined, then the concept of changing someone's mind through argument or evidence becomes meaningless. As Martin Cothran, a logician, pointed out, the claim that free will is an illusion requires the possibility that minds have the freedom to assent to a logical argument, a freedom denied by the claim itself. Moreover, the denial of free will can have far-reaching consequences. If our thoughts and actions are merely the products of lower-level processes, then they are not the result of an intelligent mind choosing between possible options. As George Ellis noted, without free will, Einstein couldn't have been responsible for the theory of relativity. It would have been a product of lower-level processes, but not of an intelligent mind choosing between possible options. As we can see, the denial of free will in atheistic thought can create paradoxes that undermine our ability to reason altogether, and even undermines our ability to practice science itself in a rationally coherent manner. To conclude, let's summarize what we've discussed today. We dove into the three Judeo-Christian presuppositions that underpin the founding of modern science: the intelligibility of nature, the contingency of nature, and the fallibility of human reasoning. We explored how atheism, or methodological naturalism, contradicts these three principles. The intelligibility of nature, the idea that our universe is understandable rather than chaotic, is questioned by atheism's attribution of creation to chaos and/or randomness rather than divine design. The contingency of nature, the belief that the universe's existence is contingent on a beyond space and time cause, is undermined by the atheistic resistance to theories like the Big Bang and quantum non-locality. Lastly, the fallibility of human reasoning, which cautiously acknowledges our capacity for reasoning and thus acknowledges the existence of free will, is contradicted by atheistic denial of free will, which makes reasoning in a logically coherent manner impossible. In essence, atheism undermines all three presuppositions that lay at the foundation of modern science in medieval Christian Europe.